Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So today we have with us Aniruddha Navur. So as AI adoption accelerates, the real challenge is no longer can we build it. However, should we approve it? How do we govern it? And who is accountable when things go wrong? In our fourth Techie Tuesday session, we are excited to host Aniruddha Navur, a technology leader with 20 plus years of experience across enterprise platforms, large scale agile delivery, and hands on work in AI readiness and AI governance. Aniruddha is known for translating emerging and often abstract AI risks into decision grade language that boards, CXOs, and risk leaders can actually act on, especially around agentic AI, shadow AI, physical AI, approval frameworks, and guardrails. So, uh, with ex- without further ado, I hand it over to Anirudh. Anirudh, thank you very much for accepting our speaker invite, and over to you.
Thank you, Varundip ma'am. Would like to express gratitude for inviting me to this forum, and a warm welcome and thank you to all the guests to this session. So just give me a moment till I share my screen so that I can share my deck.
So, meanwhile, just reminding the audience, if they have any questions and queries, they can type in chat or they can raise their digital hands and I can unmute them and then they can put up their question. Please,
Absolutely.
Or you can also put your questions in Q&A box as well.
Sure. Hello, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. So I was about to start the session by taking off my glasses, to be honest, because I have reading glasses, and without these, I'm not able to read or watch anything on laptop very clearly. This reminds me of the AI governance dilemma as well. Without a proper lens, you are not able to uh, see clearly where your governance risks lie. So we're putting this on just so that I'm able to present properly today. Thank you. So as it mentions here, AI governance is now an approval problem, not just a policy problem from experimentation perspective to scale level. Why? We will see now. Before we think about mastering AI governance, do we really understand AI governance? The bad news is it's a subject which is difficult to understand, but the good news is no one has understood it fully well. So that's a good, safe place for us to be, as the domain of AI governance is still emerging, and a lot of activity, a lot of policies are currently being drawn across the world to tackle this. Moving on to the next. The agenda for today captures key insight that I would like all of you to draw from this session, which is, at the end of the session, are we able to see what AI use cases or business value propositions can we really take into production, and under what conditions, and also what we need to hold back or from getting into production. I think that will be the key insight that I would like all of us to draw from this particular session. So this is organized in that regards, ending with a Q&A session. I would appreciate if anyone has any questions. Feel free to raise your hand, and I'm happy to take the question, or you could put it in the chat and I could answer as well. So coming to why AI governance is now a CIO approval problem. because to safely implement AI, it hinges on a robust approval processes that facilitates responsible growth. As we are seeing across the organizations, only less than 25%, a quarter of companies are have a fully implemented AI governance programs, meaning majority of the organizations have not reached a level of governance maturity, which is really shocking. What are the top three priorities that organizations nowadays have? It's around AI. Measuring AI ROI is one of the top priorities, which is also to be the driving focus towards how to maximize business value propositions, enhancing AI expertise within the organizations, upskilling and reskilling the staff, which is about coming to 32%, and improving workforce culture to adopt AI. So these are forming the top three priorities and increasing board scrutiny. This is tripled in the last year to 48% among Fortune 100 companies, indicating increased visibility and accountability expected by the board towards AI implementation and leveraging ROI out of it. Any questions so far?
I thought no, not as yet.
So the next slide that we are looking at is AI governance gap, the key research signals that we are seeing. The latest research report from Deloitte for 2026 points towards high adoption rates for AI, meaning the deployment of AI in our day-to-day use for increased productivity, its cybersecurity, data intelligence, and many more. This has resulted in rapid growth in physical AI implementations as well, which is making machines intelligent, and that is incurring more data that requires to be gathered and decisions to be taken on. However, along with the data deployment and AI governance maturity, which is lagging at the same time, this has caused a dilemma for the organizations because your oversight on the data point of view is not as great as it should be, which is indicating towards a possibility of leakage or production issues later on. Now we come to the next aspect is how this AI acceleration is being seen by the research organizations and what are the critical insights that we are seeing right now. So the critical insights that we are seeing right now is coming into the future next couple of years, we see a lot of 70% enterprises planning agentic AI deployments, including 80% physical AI adoption, which is expected by end of this year. In a nutshell, what we are seeing is the AI deployment velocity is now outpacing the governance mechanisms that needs to be put into place to make sure that the deployments work very well in production and yield the business value as anticipated by the strategic leadership. Any questions here? If not, I'll proceed. Coming to the next slide, what we're looking at, the outlook that CIOs should look for as they plan for 2026. As mentioned in the previous slide, the agentic AI implementation has expedited and is picking up. However, along with that, it also shifts the decision authority which needs to be put into place when an agent takes an action based on its own decisions. I see some, I think in the chat. Which AI governance framework do you recommend? We will come to that at the end of this particular presentation, wherein we will look at what existing governance frameworks or mechanisms or platforms are in place and what they offer. So there are plenty of governance frameworks available in the market. Deepak, happy to take a question. Thanks for your question as well. Collapsing the gaps between errors and harm. What I'm observing is AI has also expedited the innovation process. At the same time, without effective uh, and responsible governance in place, it's quite possible that a wrong decision or a wrong use case can actually affect how you're going to see that evolve in production, because that can yield to a production issue or a production incident, which can or it can even yield into governance risks, which you will see later in some of the examples that will come later. So the cycle from the point of selecting a particular use case to the point of getting into production and yielding results is quite fast. At the same time, if things are not done properly, it's also possible that those issues will come out very quickly. And if not, if you don't have governance angle in place, then it's quite possible that it will cause a lot of harm, governance and reputation perspective. And also, the feedback loop mechanism is very important here, because when you're looking to implement AI, it is important that you're able to use that and fix those issues rapidly, which is also a difficult issue if you don't have the relevant data in place. That's why governance failures surface at approval time, wherein you got to take into account what are the governance failures that you will have to surface and evolve and approve it at the time of taking it to production. What factors do you need to consider? So we look at that. So the real problems that CIOs face today in their organizations point to three key areas of AI, and that is shadow AI presents governance challenge, lack of centralized AI inventory, changing risk dynamics with autonomy. So shadow AI, we will have a look at it first in the next slide. Shadow AI is a new phenomenon that organizations are seeing. What is it? It's basically a visibility failure, governance visibility failure, where the leadership is not aware of the widespread use of unsanctioned tools by their employees, which also includes not having an overview of centralized AI inventory, which yields or results into uncertainty in data residency. That is, where your data resides, where the tools reside, where and how is it being accessed and used by employees, and which exposes regulatory risks for the organizations. The next issue that we have to look at is lack of centralized AI inventory, which is again a governance visibility failure, which is due to unknown AI, which is running in the production. That is, models that are being run in production is maybe is not accounted for or recorded in place. So governance blind spots exist as a result, and which can come into force when you're looking to scale your governance. When you're looking to scale AI, delayed incident response. Why? Because you don't know when that incident comes. The feedback loop to do an RCA requires a collaborative and cohesive environment in place to be able to debug issues and provide a fix and then put it back into production. So lacking centralized AI inventory means that the models are not well organized in place to take care of these issues in a swift manner. And that ultimately results in regulatory and board exposure, which is reputation risk for the organization. The third one which we're looking at is with respect to autonomy changes, the risk equation. So with autonomy comes the fact that human escalation lacks control and irreversible actions by AI, because AI is very fifth to give results in terms of the ML the model life cycle, the machine learning life cycle, and as a result, if an issue occurs in production, then the reversible act it becomes irreversible at times, and that can be catastrophic, which also means that it needs increased safety and compliance to avoid such risks. So autonomy is very important topic, and it also needs to be handled very carefully. There are platforms and tools, platforms like we have Google Cloud AI, which takes care of the entire machine learning life cycle, including governance, model monitoring in production to identify drifts, so that drifts can be identified, detected in production at an appropriate time, early detection of drifts, um, so that that can be fed back to the system, and the model can be trained to cover those and pushed back into the production. So continuous learning is very important when a model is in production, because that can increase risk with respect to data drift coming into effect. Any questions before we look at the why current governance approaches fail? Any questions so far?
I don't see any questions as yet.
Okay, so now in this slide, we're going to look at why current governance approaches fail. So, as you know, the compliance usually occurs when we do audits, and audits are usually organized on a yearly basis. So it's retrospective in nature, reactive in its nature, which is de facto. Once you are auditing, you're auditing retrospectively, looking at past year or the past period for whatever audit duration is for. But then, as with AI, AI is evolving so fast and so rapidly at the same time, the governance has to keep up. So, a reactive governance framework is not going to yield results because it might be just too late. Also, excessive documentation can delay decisions. Decisions have to be made on the fly with the relevant information according to the environment and the market conditions in place. Focusing excessively on documentation can delay decisions. So, decisions have to be made smartly with relevant documentation and these circumstantial information and insights derived from data that is going to help in making AI driven decisions effective, timely. Next, to fix this, we are required to look at what kind of AI governance maturity do we have? Are we ready? Are we decision ready prior to scaling AI? What matters and what doesn't? So in the next slide, we will cover the AI governance maturity and its 9 dimensions, along with its 5 maturity levels. So what AI governance maturity actually measures? It focuses on decision readiness, measures risk constraints abilities, and evaluates governance framework. So the 9 dimensions that I've covered here is derived from the recent Deloitte research report for 2026 AI adoption. So here it highlights 9 areas that are required to be covered as part of assessing your governance maturity, which is strategic alignment with goals, that is strong leadership engagement, that is a collaboration between the technology team and the strategic leadership team with respect to co-ownership of AI use cases or AI business value propositions. When things go wrong, the things have to be taken up in a joint manner to fix and fix that issue as soon as possible, or even when innovating, the co-ownership will help bring about synergy across the two leadership pillars. Third is comprehensive governance policies need to be designed governance up. We are seeing a lot of startups now coming up with initiatives, and companies are developing the models. At the same time, they've got to ensure that the comprehensive governance policies evolve along with it, because the models are bound to face what is called as model drift in production over time, and which needs to be accounted for. And model monitoring is one of the key areas to prevent that. Then we look at agile operating models, what frameworks we are using for AI initiatives across the organization, be it a Scrum framework, or be it agile at scale, or is it safe. Any approach that we take in this needs to be put in place and chosen effectively for an optimal result. Constrained autonomy management, proactive risk assessments that needs to be done, cultivating an innovation culture. Sovereign AI consideration is also a hot topic because the data residency is something that is very close to organizations and nations. It's also one of the key aspects that needs to be looked at, along with sustainability considerations with respect to energy consumptions. AI is high in energy consumptions. So when it comes to choosing the right model or even the vendors, it's important to know how sustainability is being handled by them. The next, we come to the 5 maturity levels. And those 5 maturity levels are the initial stages, where having minimal governance, emerging stage where developing processes pertaining to the governance, and having established stage implemented governance in practice is what is being seen. Advanced stage is where proactive or preventive management of governance is something that is put into place. Like I would say, preventive maintenance is an area where organizations can yield maximum results, especially seen in IoT, where preventive maintenance can highlight defects early in stage and trigger a maintenance action, so that the lifetime of that machine or that tool can extend. The last one is the reading stage, where continuous improvements and monitoring will yield an optimal result. So this is the overall governance maturity of containing the 9 dimensions and the 5 maturity levels that we see. Now I'll be covering the governance AI governance signal. It's an AI-based web app which provides decision-grade signals for CIO, risk leaders, and boards. This is something which I have developed. It's the idea being that it's to design and to determine what AI can be approved under what conditions, and what must be deferred. It's a quick assessment across the nine dimensions to see what level of maturity do we stand. And it takes less than 10 minutes. It's safe and it's conditional with controls. It does not. It tells you what not to deploy. AI governance maturity frameworks, as I mentioned, it covers nine, eight dimensions and five levels. And last but not the least, it also includes an additional feature to submit AI governance signals that enables it to draw on the peer signal visibility. When I say peer signal visibility, these are governance challenges seen across organizations. The idea being, let's say today we have situation where we can get a view of the AI governance challenge across the board. Now, AI governance is something which is understood to be a very important aspect today, which needs to be catered by organizations as we scale AI. So that's a combined understanding. But what if yeah, every organization highlighted the AI governance signals at a common place, and you could sense what governance pressures we are seeing across the globe and how that can affect our governance maturity. So that's the idea behind building this. So it's giving early warning indicators, cross jurisdictional intelligence as well. Along with that, I'll also be covering another web-based app, which is an AI-RE Quick Score, a web-based app, rapid research-aligned AI readiness diagnostics to help organization assess readiness for AI adoption before scaling, highlighting areas for improvement and where strategic focus is required. It takes less than 5 minutes. The aim is to give clarity before committing to AI scaling. So your real strengths versus perceived maturity is what you get out of that. It highlights three strategic risks, three execution risks, and one-page insight into what can be done in the next 30 to 60 days to fix or to address the gaps. So if you allow me, I'll present that governance app right now, Varundeep, or uh, shall we proceed with the presentation?
Maybe if there is a link that you wish to share, they can
Yes,
look
I
at it.
have a link. I can put it in the chat.
Yeah, yeah. We can go ahead and
So these two apps has been developed by
this
using.
quick score that link you will be asking them to fill now.
I'm putting it in the chat so that they can have a look at that. And if they have any queries before they can run, they can. I'm free. I'm happy to address those.
Right. So if the next slides are explanation of that quick score, maybe then they can take 5 minutes to fill that so that they better understand that.
Yeah. The next slide that we're going into is has anyone built this already? So shall we proceed with the next?
Yeah.
I will have to share the other screen. Just
So that is about the quick score.
yeah, and the
So
governance
maybe
app.
yeah. So maybe for quick score you can wait for
I
them
can
to
quickly.
fill in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, the first one is the link, right?
Yes, the first one is the link. I'll share my screen just to show what's actually we are seeing there.
Mm.
So this is the one. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So this is my
So
website page,
Aniruddha,
and
yeah, Aniruddha, you have to select everybody and then share the links. I think it
oh,
only,
okay.
yeah, yeah, it only got pasted
Oh,
to
okay.
host and
Sorry,
canvas.
sorry. Yeah, okay. I'll do that again. Hmm. So this is the website. This is my website. Here you will find a link for start the 5-minute assessment. It's a free assessment. It's research aligned. I can assess you. Once you click on it, it will take you to a Google form and will tell you what exactly we are trying to do here. So it's a rapid fire 15 rapid questions to assess AI readiness, and it will yield a scorecard for you, which will include a AI quick score, 0 to 100 with the band where you fall. The heuristics used behind uh, checks based on the region that you have and benchmark your peers and give you a score and tell you whether we are at par or below or above that uh, in your region. And also it gives three strategic risks, including use case clarity, revenue impact, business model readiness, and top three strategy execution risks around data governance and delivery speed, and a 30 to 60-day strategic and execution fix. All that is required for taking this assessment is a few parameters, including the organization.
I think Aniruddha, they can fill up on this form.
Yeah.
So audience, maybe you can take 5 minutes and fill this particular form, and then Aniruddha will explain the different results. Like, and if you don't want your data to be stored for any kind of information or generating the readiness score, then you can request check this checkbox, and then the data deletion can also happen.
Yes. So the data can be data, whatever responses you will be submitting will be can be deleted upon request. So that will be secure with me. I'm happy to share answer any questions one you may have around this. It will directly send an email to you based on the email address that you provide, so that you can have a look at the PDF document having the insights incorporated in there. Sure. I'll share the link again.
You can take 5 minutes. We are 8:03 now. By 8:09, we'll start the session further. Meanwhile,
is my screen visible now?
yes.
So this is the assessment which I have taken, demo taken. So for a fictional company called Trendline, operating in India. As you know, one of the questions that it asks is the region of operation is, I've mentioned India, and it now currently India GCC being the upcoming organizations in India, the setup of GCCs that we see right now have included India GCC. As a result, the score of this company will be rated across the GCC
Yeah,
companies.
Aniruddha, your voice is a bit low, and maybe
Is
we
it better
can,
now?
yeah, maybe we can quickly focus on the parameters that they can, so that they can read it at their own leisure. If you can
Yeah, I just quickly scan through quickly. So the summary level, basically it calculates the quick score and the band and the peer benchmarking. So here we know that currently it is below par. And then coming to the executive summary, it highlights the medium risk and what it sees based on your responses. And at the end, the next section highlights your readiness versus your peers, which is based on your score, estimated value, what it could mean, and how we see this the potential value leakage based on the score that we see in this particular area. Interpretation notes is mentioned to explain what exactly is being calculated, and then the strategic risk intelligence captures the three strategic risks that we see based on the assessed dimensions, which includes business model, customer experience, and use case. It also highlights section how to read this and make a make some insights. Then comes the 3 execution risks pertaining to governance, delivery, and workforce to see what are the implications of that assessment. Considering both the 2 things, it prioritizes what can be done to address on an immediate basis for 30 to 60-day priority fix. In one of the research reports also it talks about to assess and prioritize use cases that can be implemented in 3 to 6 months that can yield the best business value for the organizations. So keeping that in mind, it's prioritizing the use case that needs to be addressed. Same thing can be taken up with the board to finalize and prioritize accordingly. So this is the guidance which is provided by this assessment. And finally, the governance responsible and AI ownership. It also highlights what are the regulatory parameters that are covered as part of this assessment and how this section, how this report adheres to that. And based on the evidences of your answers and the domain scores, how it's calculated and how it's rated, and the interpretation and the methodology to use to arrive at this scoring mechanism. That's pretty much that to it. It also includes visual analytics, just to give you a visual representation. That's about it, team.
Sure.
I think so. A few more have done it as well. Any questions, team, based on this? Before we move on to the next, we have 15 more minutes. Okay.
We can proceed further, I think.
Okay. I'm happy to proceed further. There is also another AI governance signal app, Varun, that I would like to cover. If you have a few 5 minutes, that's okay.
Sure. And look at your screen. It's not that.
Yeah, I'm just sharing the screen. Yeah, is my screen visible now?
Yes.
Yeah. So this talks about this AI governance signal app. The idea behind it is uh, uh, to use that governance framework that we saw earlier, uh, maturity framework, and see and give leaders an opportunity to assess their organization across those 9 dimensions we saw earlier, using this assess my governance maturity and contribute an AI governance signal. So there are 2 aspects here to this particular link. So that is covered here. So I'll just briefly cover what is included here in assess my governance maturity. Basically looks at those 9 governance maturity framework that I've captured here, the 9 governance dimensions, which includes strategy, leadership, policies, operating model, these aspects which we just covered in the slide deck. and including the maturity levels, the 5 maturity levels, and what for each maturity level, what each of the dimensions mean being at level 1. So when talking about strategy, for example, if you're at level 1, meaning it could indicate no formal AI strategy, initiatives are opportunistic pilots without not much governance in scope. So that's, and whereas in leadership, it's also indicative of no dedicated AI leadership and accountability. Uh, it often does, it doesn't mean that organizations who are exhibiting different maturity levels across these dimensions um, are showing maturity stage which manifests, but it's not necessary that they are required uniform state. So they need not be all at the same level across all 9 dimensions, because each of those dimensions could be at different levels. But at the end of that, they could use that to assess and come at a comprehensive level of assessment maturity. Here, if you take a look at this assessment here, so what we do here is for strategy and scope, we ask articulation of AI vision aligned with enterprise objectives, clarity on governance boundaries, and integration of AI initiatives. So, with respect to strategy and scope, what level are we looking at from your perspective? So, if you are looking at, say, level 3 or level 2, let's say emerging, then we can quickly take this assessment across leadership as well. Let's say we are emerging, or let's are established. Then we come to the next, we have policies and standards and controls in place. Let's say we are emerging as well. Operating model and inventory, let's say we are emerging there as well. Autonomy and human oversight. Level 2, risk monitoring and auditability, which indicates a systemic risk identification and mitigation. Let's say we are at level 2. Culture, refuge, and AI fluency. Let's say we are also emerging there. Basic awareness amongst training available, pockets of governance understanding, and risk compliance functions. Sovereign AI and regulatory alignment. Are we aligned with regulations and sovereign AI? Let's say we are still emerging. Sustainability and societal well-being, emerging as well. So once we do this, so we basically take a consent here that this assessment which we are doing caters to these frameworks, the regulatory frameworks. And then once we complete this assessment, this is the whole assessment here is session based. There is no data storage. Whatever session exists is as per the session that is currently active, and it doesn't store in the backend anywhere. So what you get as a result of this is a CIO governance memo, a decision memo, basically based on the assessment. What are your current AI governance postures? What is safe to experiment or not yet? Safe to scale autonomous AI at this maturity level, uncontrolled agentic or self-learning systems pose operational and regulatory risk. So what this code means for you is captured here. What dimension analysis is also looked at, and what is covered, what is risk, and what is minimal acceptable control for each of those dimensions is covered here. Questions the board or the regulators may ask pertaining to you, your assessment, and also what 90 days governance moves that you need to plan is also covered as a recommendation in this particular page. It also gives you a maturity profile in the form of this diagram to see where your maturity level is, and also gives you a current AI governance posture here as well. Last but not the least, it allows you to export your assessment results into a PDF demo, PDF memo in PDF as well as text form. Email is not activated, but there is a placeholder. So if you download it, it will download it to your desktop, and it will give you the same report. What we saw in this online is captured in the deck, and you can download it on your desktop. So that will give you a comprehensive view in terms of what is covered here. and it'll give you an oversight based on what your governance maturity uh, uh, is at the moment. So this is not stored anywhere in the website or anywhere. It tells you the maturity staircase, the current position where you stand in a concise manner, and the framework as well is explained here. So it's not a compliance as a scoreboard, but it is a governance lens to enable safely scaling AI. Any questions, Steve?
I think there are no questions as yet.
Yeah, I'll share the link to this as well,
Mhm.
that teams can do that assessment as well. Yeah. Share my screen. So I request people to uh, take this assessment offline. This can be taken up as well at their convenience, and I'm happy to have their questions answered. They can reach out to me anytime. Yeah. Stop, stop the video as well. Am I visible now?
Your screen, I think, is coming up.
Yeah, I just turned on. Sorry about that. So the next section here is, has anyone built this already? So to answer that, we have to look at what exists today. So currently, AI governance solutions or platforms that we have uh, focus on compliance and reporting. Noteworthy of that, of those platforms are specifically pertaining to AI governance is Credo AI. This is something which I also came about to know a couple of weeks back. So this is a very good tool, with a platform tool for organizations wanting to implement AI governance in their organization. So please make a note of that. I'll put it in the chat as well. Google Cloud AI also has good uh, inbuilt governance uh, into it. So Google Cloud AI is also popular cloud platform for governance as well as and machine learning. What is missing is a notable gap that we in the market for rapid decision grade AI approvals signals that I see. So right now it's more of retrospective, but and very heavyweight. So we don't have a lightweight system wherein we can assess our governance maturity right now. Let's say before our governance meet or meeting of the board, wherein we need to look at at a high level where we are and how we are doing to present to the board a clear and realistic picture of the current situation. And this is something that I feel can expedite decisions and also setting the right directions. And it can be taken up by at an organizational leadership level as well as at the department level. For example, at an HR level, they could also assess this for their HR department as well as for an organizational level so that they can analyze the reports and strategize what needs to be done next. So it's meant to expedite decision making rather than before they face the regulatory or compliance audits. So it kind of gives them will give you a buffer in terms of how assessing where we are, and also be on the toes all the time. Next, we're going to have a look at the physical AI manufacturing. Basically, this is to highlight how autonomous AI is leveraged by companies, including Tata Steel as well, where IoT-driven operations have expedited their AI journey. So there are a few examples here: autonomous robotics in transforming operations, as well as quality control mechanisms, and also in real-time decision making. So to highlight these aspects pertaining to manufacturing industries here. Last but not the least, to look at some real-world use cases on where AI has uh, uh, failed. So when AI fails, governance, not technology, is judged more often than not. So here we talk about three use cases pertaining to Uber autonomous fatality, where a test truck pinned down a pedestrian back in 2018. So that was the lack of regulatory, a lack of governance mechanisms put in place at the time, uh, including Clearview post-deployment governance reckoning, wherein the regional jurisdiction-aware governance was not put into place. As a result, once it went live, there were bans and fines on this on Clearview AI. The third, which talks about Zillow, wherein AI pricing model, which was test-driven, which was a testing tool, was given decision-making authority and ultimately resulted in some huge financial losses back in 2021. So again, that the decision guardrails around governance guardrails were missing, risk limits or executive challenge mechanisms are not put in place. So those are the learning lessons from the lack of governance that we need to keep in mind, relevant to our own industry and company. And we need to strategically and tactically look at that to counter that with appropriate governance maturity mechanisms that we can put into place. With that, we have come to the end of this session. Thank you, everybody. I'm open to feedback and open to some questions that you might have. I'm happy to take those. We are just exceeded by 1 minute.
Right. So thank you, Aniruddha. If anyone has any questions, maybe they can put in chat, or if you want to speak, you can raise hand and I can unmute you. Okay. I think there are no questions. So while team has absorbed, they might want to do the assessments and come back to you later for any questions. So maybe team, you can share your feedback about the session, right?
Yes, please. I'm happy to. I'm happy for you to share your feedback as well on this on these initiatives that I see that organizations can leverage to expedite their decisions around AI governance.
So thank you very much, Aniruddha, for taking us through the governance and how to see through this. And I'm sure teams will go through these uh, links and try to observe like at what stage they are and how they can plan better. So thank you very much, and thank you, audience, for your time. And we will.
I'll be just sharing my
Yeah.
LinkedIn URL for
Mhm.
people to connect with me.
Mhm.
That will, I'd be happy to connect with them as well. And
Thank you. Thank you, Anirudh. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.